Hopefully these hints and tips will be useful. Stay tuned. I wanted to increase the load carrying capacity of my Alice pack. I originally put on a couple of ammunition pouches and then realised I had some larger pouches lying around. However, the new larger pouches were Molly and the Alice pack is Alice. The two round pouches that I had looked the same but actually were slightly different sized. The larger pack was a lighter green than the smaller one, which matched the colour of the Alice pack. There wasn't a problem fitting the two Molly straps through the straps that were already on the Alice pack. The Molly and Alice pack straps matched, but not very well. It was possible to put the two Molly straps through the Alice straps, but the pack flapped around. My answer was to use an Alice pack clip and the sideways mounted strap on the Alice pack to hold the round packs down and secure. I now have the round pack attached in 3 places, with the clip on the closure cord, on the vertical Alice loop and on the horizontal Alice loop. Because of its smaller size, it was easier to attach the smaller round bag on the middle horizontal loop and the bottom vertical loop. This left space to be able to put a small pack on the top Alice loop. Industrial house insulation is good for making padding for vulnerable items. The first thing to do if you get some is to square it off. It's easy to do using a ballpoint pen and a straight edge. It can be cut with scissors, but it's more efficient to do it with a sharp knife. Then cut it to size. The best way to do this is to put it round the object and mark it. At each stage, it's a good idea either to measure it carefully or to have a template ready to use. At each stage, test it before you go on to the next one. Once you've wrapped it round the object and fastened it down with tape, it's time to make a base. Do this not by eye, but by placing the object on the foam and cutting round it again. Then stick it in position. Similarly, the lid can be cut to shape, and an extra piece of tape can be used to hold it down when in use. If you're bothered about keeping the whole thing waterproof, then put it in a resealable plastic bag. The result is a piece of easily and cheaply made item of protective equipment that actually does the job. It's a little difficult to cook if you can't control the pan you're using. If you've lost your pan grippers, you could use pliers or a multi-tool, or more likely you're going to have to buy a new pair of grippers. Lost the handle? Well, that's not as bad. You can use an old cheap spoon. Semi-flatten the spoon so the curve matches the curve of your pot. Then line up the spoon with the slot, mark it, cut it to size, then smooth the rough edges using a file, or if you haven't got one of those, use a rough stone or even a wall. In order to make it easier to use, make sure that this new handle fits inside the pot so you can carry it. Many jackets, bags and packs come with cords and a variety of cord locks. Some of them are good, some of them are poor, and some of them get lost very easily. If this is the case, you can make your own, and you can make them to your own specifications and desires, especially if you want to make your equipment look a little bit more bushcrafty and rustic. I have a cord lock on my hood. The problem is, it's one cord, it's fastened in the middle, so it's always dangling on my chest and making it difficult to get on and off. I've decided to cut the cord in the middle and use 2 cord locks, one on each side. This will allow me to adjust the hood and also keep my face free. Making the cord lock is relatively easy. You need a leather strap about 1 centimetre wide, and you put in pairs of holes a few millimeters apart. Then you cut off pairs of holes and trim the corners. Once you've done this, you can feed through one cord, two cords in opposition to each other, or a double cord. These cord locks work, they're cheap to make, and they're easy to replace should they fail. To make these cord locks, all you need is a strip of leather and a hole punch. If you haven't got a hole punch, a drill can be used instead. And in addition, you just need a sharp knife. They're easy, cheap and fast to make and don't require that much skill. And they look good too. Thank you to everyone who watches, comments and subscribes. So get out there, get training. You know it makes sense, it will serve you well.